The White House has unveiled gun and school safety proposals that include arming teachers, but backtrack on President Donald Trump's previous calls to raise the minimum age to purchase certain firearms to 21. The Trump administration's proposals vow to provide rigorous firearms training to specially qualified teachers on a voluntary basis. This includes assistance from the Department of Justice, which will offer firearm training to school staff through their local agencies. Sunday night's announcements also included news that the president is establishing a federal commission on school safety that will be headed by Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. The commission will largely focus on mental health and strengthening school security, but will also explore other solutions such as raising the age requirements for gun purchases, according to the White House. Today's announcements did not say when the commission's findings will be released, but an official said it would be within a year. Far too often the focus has been only on the most contentious fights, the things that have divided people and sent them into their entrenched corners, DeVos said on Sunday, according to CNN. But the plan that we're going to advance and talk about is a pragmatic plan to dramatically increase school safety and to take steps to do so right away. As part of the proposals, the Department of Homeland Security will work with state and local authorities in a public awareness campaign based on their See Something, Say Something anti-terrorism campaign. The White House plans also mention supporting the transition of military veterans and retired law enforcement officials into education-related careers. These proposals were expected to include raising the minimum age for buying long guns to 21, a measure Trump has said he would support, but the unveiled plans make no mention of this. During a February 28 meeting, the president said, "Now, this is not a popular thing to say in terms of the NRA. But I'm saying it anyway, you can buy a handgun, you can't buy one. You have to wait until you're 21. But you can buy the kind of weapon used in the school shooting at 18. I think it's something you have to think about." Also expected was support for banning bump stocks, a modification to high-capacity rifles that lets them fire like an automatic weapon. Shooter Stephen Paddock used a bump stock in an October 2017 shooting rampage in Las Vegas that left 58 people dead and more than 850 injured, the worst mass shooting in American history. However, the proposals made no mention of this. Critics of the president slammed the White House's announcements, claiming Trump backed down from supporting raising the minimum age for gun purchases because of pressure from the National Rifle Association, the powerful lobbying group. This plan is weak on security and an insult to the victims of gun violence, Democratic Senator Robert P. KCJR. Said in a statement to the Washington Post. When it comes to keeping our families safe, it's clear that President Trump and congressional Republicans are all talk and no action. Company president of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence said in a statement, President Trump has offered only drips of water in response to a 5-alarm fire. The White House announcements did, as expected, include official support for a bipartisan Senate bill known as Fix NICS that Republican Senator John Cornyn and Democratic Senator Chris Murphy introduced to improve federal compliance with criminal background checks. The news on school safety measures come nearly a month after a mass shooting in Parkland, Florida, renewed debate over gun control. Student survivors of the shooting have mobilized to call for stricter gun control laws after the deaths of 17 people at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School at the hands of a 19-year-old former student. During his presidential campaign, Trump touted his support for gun rights and was endorsed by the NRA. Since the Florida shooting, he has offered conflicting statements about his views on gun policies, at times calling for new restrictions and at other times rowing back on his comments. Trump has recently held listening sessions with gun violence victims, legislators and with the NRA, which on Friday filed a lawsuit against the state of Florida after a Republican Governor Rick Scott signed a law that bans the purchase of firearms by anyone younger than 21.